war. It has shaped borders, toppled empires, and carved some of the darkest scars in human history. Behind every number is a human life, a family, a story cut short. Today, we'll uncover the 10 deadliest wars of all time. Conflicts so vast, so devastating, they reshaped entire civilizations. Stay with me until the end, because the final reflection may just change the way you see both the past and the future. So make sure you like and share this video, and have fun watching and learning. World War II, the war that shook the world. From 1939 to 1945, the planet was engulfed in the deadliest conflict humanity has ever faced. An estimated 70 to 85 million people perished, roughly 3% of the world's population at the time. The fighting stretched across Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. Entire cities vanished in firebombings, while new horrors like the Holocaust revealed humanity's darkest capacities. More than 50 million civilians died, and over 20 million soldiers never returned home. Yet from this destruction, the world saw the birth of new alliances, the creation of the United Nations, and the rise of two global superpowers. World War II was both an ending and a beginning, the closing of one brutal era and the dawn of another. The Mongol Conquests, empire of fire and fear. In the 13th and 14th centuries, the Mongol horsemen swept across Asia, the Middle East, and deep into Europe. In less than a century, they forged the largest land empire in human history. The cost was staggering, up to 60 million lives lost. Cities that resisted were reduced to ashes. Yet along with destruction came a paradoxical legacy: new trade routes, cultural exchange, and the spread of technologies across continents. The Mongols ruled through fear, but they also connected the world in ways no empire had before. The Second Sino-Japanese War, Asia in flames. Before World War II erupted globally, China had already been locked in a devastating struggle with Japan. From 1937 to 1945, the Second Sino-Japanese War claimed around 27 million lives. It was a war of occupation, sieges, and brutal urban battles. Entire cities were starved, bombed, or burned. Eventually, this conflict merged into the wider World War II, making East Asia one of the deadliest fronts in modern history. The scars of this war are still deeply felt in the region to this day. The Taiping Rebellion, the civil war from within. Between 1850 and 1864, China faced a massive internal uprising, the Taiping Rebellion. It was more than just a revolt. It was a vision of a radically new society that sought to replace the Qing dynasty. The rebellion spiraled into chaos, engulfing entire provinces. Between 20 and 30 million people perished, most of them civilians. Cities were destroyed, farmlands abandoned, famine spread like wildfire, and disease swept through displaced populations. This remains the bloodiest civil war in recorded history, an event often overshadowed by global wars, but no less catastrophic. World War I, the Great War. They called it the Great War, and some even believed it would be the war to end all wars. From 1914 to 1918, World War I unleashed industrialized killing on a scale the world had never seen before. With machine guns, tanks, poison gas, and endless trenches, millions of young soldiers fought and died for mere meters of ground. The death toll, 16 to 30 million lives. The war destroyed empires, Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, German, and Russian, and redrew maps across Europe and the Middle East. Yet instead of ending conflict, it planted the seeds of even greater wars to come. The Second Congo War, Africa's forgotten world war. Between 1998 and 2003, Central Africa became the stage for the deadliest war since World War II. The Second Congo War drew in 9 different nations and dozens of armed groups. While battles themselves killed hundreds of thousands, disease, famine, and displacement raised the toll to about 5.5 million lives. Often called Africa's World War, this conflict is a reminder that some of the deadliest tragedies of modern times are not always remembered by the global public, but their impact continues to shape lives today. The Yugoslav Wars, the collapse of a nation. In the 1990s, Yugoslavia, once a unified state, collapsed into a series of brutal wars across Croatia, Bosnia, and Kosovo. The death toll reached 130,000 to 140,000 people. Bosnia bore the heaviest losses, with ethnic cleansing, sieges, and atrocities leaving scars that remain raw even now. The world watched images of Sarajevo under siege, and the tragedy of Srebrenica became a symbol of unchecked violence in modern Europe. These wars were a chilling reminder that old divisions can return with ferocity, even in the late 20th century. The Iran-Iraq War, 8 years of stalemate. From 1980 to 1988, two neighbors, Iran and Iraq, locked themselves into an 8-year nightmare. The war claimed 450,000 to 700,000 lives. It was marked by trench warfare reminiscent of World War I, chemical weapon attacks, and strikes on cities and vital oil infrastructure. When the dust settled, the borders remained unchanged. Both nations were shattered, proving that wars can drag on for years, destroy millions of lives, and still achieve nothing. The Crimean War, the forgotten bloodbath. From 1853 to 1856, the Crimean War pitted Russia against an alliance of the Ottoman Empire, Britain, and France. Though famous for the heroic charge of the Light Brigade, the reality was grim. Around 600,000 lives lost, the majority from disease and poor medical care rather than direct combat. But the war also brought change. It sparked reforms in military logistics and gave rise to modern battlefield nursing, led by pioneers like Florence Nightingale. Even in horror, progress emerged. The Napoleonic Wars, Europe in fire and glory. Between 1803 and 1815, Napoleon Bonaparte's ambitions set Europe ablaze. His empire fought against shifting coalitions of European powers, with legendary battles like Austerlitz, Leipzig, and Waterloo marking his rise and fall. The wars claimed 3 to 6 million lives, but their impact went far beyond the battlefield. They spread new ideas of nationalism and reform across the continent, reshaping Europe's future. Napoleon's ultimate defeat ended an era, but his legacy still influences politics and strategy to this day. The price of war. Let's summarize and draw conclusions. The glowing regions on the world map fade, leaving the Earth turning silently in the void of space. From steppe riders to modern tanks, from civil wars to global conflicts, humanity has endured unimaginable destruction. Each war left scars, not only on maps and borders, but on generations of families. And yet, history reminds us of one thing. Behind every statistic lies a life, a voice, a dream that never came true. If there is one lesson in these stories, it is this: peace is not weakness, it is the highest form of strength. Because once forgotten, history has a cruel way of repeating itself. So if you enjoyed it and learned something new, like and subscribe to Epic Timeline Events to make sure you don't miss a single video.